Welcome to the Lounge. I'm Matt with Volton Woodworking and your host of the Maker Lounge podcast, where we have a rotating group of makers hanging out and talking shop with each other. This is the holiday hangout episode at the year end here in the lounge. His dad owns 3 peacocks. One of them is called Scott, and the other 2 have feathers. Scott Walsh is here.
Yeah.
And we'll have to hear that story. And lastly, this guy has not only mastered the art of foley in his videos, sometimes he does woodworking. Mr. Suman is here.
The catheter?
Today we're having a holiday feast, and John with Lincoln Street Woodworking was supposed to bring the food, but he's walking uphill in the snow both ways.
And I'm hungry.
Yeah, where's my food, dang it? Suman brought his holiday Chia pet, and Scott has the the clapper. And that is how you know it is the sign Christmas is here. Clap on. Clap on.
You know, if you think about it, back in the day, that would like literally turn somebody's lights off. Now it's like, hey Alexa, turn the light off.
Yeah, that's right. Clapper was the first, and I can't say
Alexa.
it because then my podcast might shut off.
Don't do that.
Right. We've already had the technical glitch there, but so what is this peacock story?
Oh, the peacock story?
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad has a bit of a petting zoo, and a part of that petting zoo, he owns 3 peacocks, I think, and some peahens.
Peahens?
What are peahens?
Well, a cock is a male and a hen is a female.
Tell me more about this.
That's honestly all I know, because that's 1,500 kilometers away, and I don't live there. It's all a bit loud and smelly.
Yeah. Yeah, we had 17 degrees here today in Houston, and I sent you guys the pictures, but my pipe burst on the outside of the house, because in Houston, I mean, it typically doesn't get this cold.
Oh, that's what that was.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. You're like, what are you showing me here? I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm dealing
I was
with
like,
this.
what's wrong with your hose? Oh, you didn't
Yeah.
drain your hose. I get it now.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it was spurting out all over. Yeah. I guess I probably should have clarified, but I was knee deep in water and ice at that point.
Ooh, fun times.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Oh, man.
sucked. Well, in classic first timer issues, I had not hit start stream when I read that intro. So anybody that's watching the stream live right now will have to go back and watch it when it posts.
Oh, well.
But we're live now, and I'm not redoing that intro. That was way too offensive.
In some ways, it's better that it's not being heard again, at least amongst a few people.
Well, you just let me know by the end of the episode if I need to revise the intro.
You're good.
Conclusion is just a repetition of the intro anyway. So
Right.
Let it chip.
That's it. Yeah, when I first started doing the podcast, so I had all these great ideas. I was like, well, I'm gonna record the intro at the end, so that way we know what we're talking about and stuff like that. And everybody always had to drop off, or it was like we're so done at the end of the episode that I never got to record the intro. So I was like, I'll just start doing it at the beginning. And
it was a great plan in theory, but it sucks that it didn't work out.
yeah. So what do you guys have planned for the holidays?
Oh, I have the most fun thing ever planned. It's called moving.
Oh,
Yeah.
like local?
Yeah, local. Not very far away, but I'm doing a big move. The shop is not moving right away, but it eventually will be. So that's maybe like a February, March sort of move. My new house has a single car garage, whereas my shop right now is in my basement in a 120-foot square room.
Wow.
Wait, 120 square foot room. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
So my single car garage will be twice the size of my current shop, which I'm very excited about.
Upgrading to the single car garage.
Yeah, but otherwise moving is just about all I can handle right now. And
Yeah.
so this Christmas is pretty chill otherwise.
So what's the actual move date? Is it It's after Christmas, obviously.
Yeah,
You're not-
January 2nd-ish, I think.
Okay.
Not set in stone.
And
Yeah.
and Scott, you have some wiggle room, right, in the whole transition period. You don't have to move like in 2 days, like most
No.
Americans experience.
No, I
Yeah,
got
so
I
that's
got
always
a nice buffer window where we can slowly move, but we'll do a lot of the big stuff in a single day, and then I got to renovate the shop because it's completely uninsulated, cinder block. It's kind
Oh.
of like a basement garage. So like 2 of the walls would be interior walls in the garage, and then there's going to be 2 exterior walls, which one of them has the garage door in. And so that's going to be a whole winter project to insulate it, put in a mini split, and electrical.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, and you're probably excited you can bring in sheet goods now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, now I usually cut them down in my trailer in the driveway before I bring them down to the basement while knocking everything over and punching holes in the drywall.
Right.
So, are you going to do all of the work in the garage before bringing in all of your tools, or are you going to just kind of bring it in and then be miserable the whole time?
No, I definitely do all the work before I bring in the tools. It's like the only. It's not that big of a space, even though it's twice as big.
Yeah.
But not having anything in there because I kind of want to epoxy the floors too, because that's kind of like a vapor barrier thing. So I would love to epoxy the floors and get it all sealed as tight as I possibly can. And so that means the shop can wait.
Yeah, it's a good idea. And you've done a couple videos on your YouTube channel about sleds. So now that you have a massive shop, you'll be able to do a massive sled. I think you should do the opposite of what you just did. You know, you downsized your sled. You should do a 60-pound sled.
Oh, God. No, can't handle it. I'm not that strong.
My name is Scott, and today I'm going to tell you why you need a 60-inch wide sled.
Just a total troll video, you know? And people
Hey, I
who
still make plan sales off it too.
yeah, people who saw your last video and then they just built this, you know, the 30-pound sled, and then you produce a new video and it's like, oh, this is why I'm getting rid of this sled.
I had a couple of comments like that. People were like,
really?
I just built a massive sled. I was like, sorry. This is just my opinion, man.
Practice makes perfect.
Yeah. Getting real good at sleds.
Well, I mean, how else are you supposed to break down 12 feet long sheet goods if you don't have a 6 feet long sled?
Track saw?
Right. Yeah. Oh, that's just too easy.
Yeah. I don't own a track saw.
Yeah.
Soon, that's I feel like that you just blemished over the sadness of that story. Can you go a little bit more into why you don't have a track saw?
Well, technically, there's one in the mail, and it's been in the mail for months. Actually,
Whoa.
probably half a year. I'd have to check where the email is. So I do have a relationship with DeWalt, and they're totally fine sending me whatever I need. And I was like, okay, I'll try out your track saw, and like that was at least June. I can't remember when it was. That was a
Still
long time
waiting.
ago. Still waiting.
Yeah.
And I've asked for things since then, and I've gotten them, but something to do with manufacturing, they just haven't had them in probably years. So I'm a patient guy. I have crosscut sleds.
Yeah. Yeah, lots of them.
I have lots of them.
Crosscut sleds coming out the ears. Well, sledding it's 'tis the season. I think you should
Aha.
do another sled thing just before Christmas.
I should have taken my old one for a ride.
Yeah.
Before you deconstructed it this week, yeah, that would have been nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Write it down.
Oh,
there.
yeah. So Matt, he actually took his sled apart, the big one, this week to
Oh.
do
I
a
did.
testing on
Yeah.
another video, and he just used it as a jig for the testing.
Oh,
Well-
man.
That sled was
Well-
made out of maple, and it was pretty hefty, so I repurposed it. You know, I do what I can for the planet.
I'm sure you could take one of your old videos and you know, kind of jackman it, you know, and put yourself on it. Well, you're actually pretty good at special effects. I saw your little promos or your sponsor segments where
Yeah.
you did the little twirl and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I had fun doing that. It's probably wasting too much time, but occasionally I go down a rabbit hole, and I'm like, I have to finish this. It's going to be so fun.
Yeah.
My favorite, Matt, I don't know if you've seen this video of his, but he made a automated dust collector video that nobody watched. But what happened in
Including
it
me,
is-
I missed that one. Yeah, it's right over it. Yeah.
So what happened in it is some of the parts and the build process of the chips was way too complicated. It was going to take forever to explain. And so basically all he did is he took all the chips, put it in a pretend oven, took it out, made the ding sound. It's like, and here they are, done.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah.
Now I'm gonna have to go back and watch that one.
Yeah, basically, I was like, no one's going to want to know anything about circuits and electronics. And I had to solder all these things on a PCB board. And so my way to circumvent that was to pretend like I had like an easy bake oven under my workbench, like Martha Stewart would. And I just pulled them all out, and with some visual effects and some audio as well. I made like sizzling sounds and some steam rising off the circuit boards. So
That's great.
Occasionally I have fun with that.
I almost crapped myself when I was watching your which video was the you were doing 5-cut method or something like that.
Yeah.
Was one where you were you broke something in half like a wood or something like that.
That was Suman, was it?
That was Suman. Okay,
Yeah.
Suman. So I was binge watching your guys' channels today. And that was Suman. Yeah, it's you snapped the board and I totally caught me off guard.
That one caught me off guard too.
That one caught me very off guard.
So that was totally unplanned.
Totally unplanned. I mean, I was rolling to flex it a little.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a thin piece of wood,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, it's a wood like this, and it just snapped right in front of my face. And normally, you would use a lot of expletive words and be like, whoa, I got lucky on that one.
Yeah.
It was very close to my eye.
Yeah.
I kept my candor reasonably enough that
was great.
I kept it and put it in the video.
It was great. Yeah. After I was like, that that got me. I was a little bit shocked. But Scott, yeah, you have a very particular style in your videos as well. Just like what you were talking about, not being bored or like not boring the audience or whatever. And then you're like in the 5-cut method video. That was by far the most enjoyable, easiest to watch 5-cut method strategy that I've watched out of all the videos.
Yeah.
So people should definitely go check that out.
I mean,
That's
I
impressive.
really glazed over a lot of it. I talked like William Ing's original video, I think is 25 minutes. And yeah, he goes over every single nook and cranny of that equation. And it's like, to me, I do find it fascinating, but I just know that the majority of people are going to pass that up every single time.
Yeah.
So yeah, the name of the game with all my videos is to just boil it down to its essence so that the most possible people can understand it. And as soon as you start getting into the weeds of everything, it's when you start losing eyeballs. So I may oversimplify things, but I do it completely on purpose because I don't want to lose people.
Can I do a little confession?
Sure.
Please do.
The video
It's a
Scott
safe
has
space.
put out.
That's right. Step into the my chambers.
Here's the lounge.
I'm not
floor.
Catholic. I don't know. You step into the box. I don't know what
That's just confessional, I think.
the confessional. Okay.
Yeah.
So every video Scott has put out, John and I have been pretty extensively involved in them, from idea conception to scripting to drafting to every parts of the video and everything.
Taking all
On
the
this
credit,
one-
are you, Suman?
On this one, I didn't
wrote
watch
it
his
for you.
finished product. But on this one, I didn't watch his finished product. So I actually have no idea how the 5-cut method really went.
You didn't watch it? Thanks for being such a good friend, Suman.
Wait, you're gonna have to watch this back because when I was talking, I was like, yeah, that was totally good.
Yeah,
I was thinking about William, because William and I are friends. And so I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I remember William's video.
Oh, okay. All right, you're off the hook. Suman, so what do you have planned for the holidays? Not moving, I hope.
No, God, no. I am. Initially, I was thinking I'll be able to spend a little bit more time in the shop because I have this coming week off, as does my wife. So my wife hasn't had any time off in 7 years, basically, because she went through medical training and everything. You just don't get time off, and so I took some time off to coincide with hers, and we have a child, so I don't think we're gonna do anything crazy, but maybe do like a small trip here or there. So from Buffalo area, Niagara on the Lake is a fantastic winery space, and it's a good place to just kind of hang out, try some wine, eat some good food and stuff like that. So that's a pretty good day trip. There's a ski town down below from us that's also a good It's like an hour away. That's a good trip. So we'll probably do some day trips like that, but
Nice.
nothing crazy. Largely staying put. But with the amount of snow we have out right now, I'm not really sure what's going to happen to that plan.
You're gonna step outside and start skiing.
I kid you not. About 20 minutes before getting on here, I tried to let my dog out, and I pushed the door. I was like, "Oh, right, I can't open the door," and he just like barges straight through, and he goes out there. I'm like, "Well, I have to find a way to let him in." So I went around the other entrance and then like started shoveling before I came out here.
How cold is it? What's the temperature?
I'm not really sure. I think probably in the 20s, but
Okay.
it's not really the temperature. It's the precipitation, snow, and everything. So
Yeah. Yeah. I that's the most frustrating thing. It's like my dog, when I go to take my dog out, and that's actually how I discovered the leak this morning was
Oh.
I took my dog out to take her leak, and then the house was spewing water. But it's like when it's the worst possible weather, she's looking for real estate out there. She doesn't just go out and do her thing. She's just got to like take her sweet time. I'm like, we're not picking out an apartment here or something. Like you could do this thing and we could go back inside. That would be perfectly fine.
no, it's when it's beautiful weather out that they'll go out there and then they want to come right back in. But if the weather is horrible, they really want to take their time and investigate what's going on out there.
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, it was blistering wind. I don't know if you had the wind like we had the wind.
Oh yeah.
It seemed like it came out all the way across, and it was. I mean, I could cut glass out there. It was so frigid. I ripped 3 shirts in the process.
Is this your 4th one right now that you're wearing?
That's right. Yeah, this is all I had left. Yeah. So I have some holiday questions. You know, given that this is the holiday year-end discussion, what is one thing that you think Santa's gonna? Well, first of all, have you been naughty or nice?
I haven't been asked that question in a while.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
a
not going to
great
ask you to
question.
sit on my lap. I just
No, I mean you kind of have the attire going. All you
That's
need
right.
is like age your beard a little bit more,
Yeah.
and you're good.
Oh, I use just for men. Don't be fooled.
You know, I don't. I think I've been pretty good this year.
With that much hesitation?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, I think what has changed substantially for me is becoming a father. So I became a father this year, early in the year.
Congratulations.
And I had to, thank you. So I had to, get my things together and be a responsible, seeming adult.
Right.
So,
Yeah. As best as you can.
exactly. So I would say I've been pretty good.
Yeah. So your wife has been working since she went back and without a break then, huh?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So you've been doing the getting up in the middle of the night and doing all that kind of stuff?
She did help with that whenever she could. But we had a lot of,
Yeah. That's good.
that was tremendously useful for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So Scott, have you been naughty or nice?
I've been thinking about it a lot, and I'm gonna say that I'm okay.
Definitely naughty.
I'm not super nice. Like as a woodworker, I'm pretty bad with like giving gifts to people. Like,
Yeah.
I'm supposed to give cutting boards to everyone, or I'm supposed to make things for people. I don't do any of that. So, in that sense, I'm not really that great of a guy.
Right.
But I don't have all the time in the world, and this time of year, I'm like, oh, I could make people stuff, or I could just buy
Nah.
something on Amazon for them, or give them a gift card. So
Yeah.
I'm not that great, I do what I can.
Yeah.
Trying to run a
So-
business here.
Scott, did you so far in your woodworking career a single cutting board? Is that
I
right?
have made one, and that was this year.
Yeah, so you did it like I do. Like it took me probably 3 years. I was doing full built-ins before I made my first cutting board.
Nice. Yeah, I've been building like standalone furniture. I used to do a lot more traditional joinery than I do these days, and I've been doing woodworking on and off since I've been a teenager. So we're going on like 17 years or something. And the first time I made a cutting board was this past summer to give my mother for a gift. Isn't
Wow.
that
So,
crazy?
Scott,
and I use
are you
plastic cutting boards in the kitchen. That's how desperate I am.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
you've been woodworking since you're 17, you said?
Yeah, I don't. There wasn't really a start date. I was always building stuff as a kid.
I thought you were 18.
There wasn't a start. Like I made
Like today, he's 18.
Today.
Oh, today. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a brand new beard.
Thanks, man.
He just got that beard.
I appreciate it. Late bloomers is awesome later on in
You
life.
look very youthful.
Yeah.
Thanks. Suman
Yeah.
and I are the same age, aren't we? I can't remember how old you are. I'm
We
sorry.
are, yeah. We're
You're a
roughly the
year
same
older
age.
than me, I think.
I honestly don't even think about how old I am anymore. After 30, I stop thinking.
Well, I
Because
just turned
it's-
32 last week.
Okay, so I think I'm a year older than you, but I honestly don't know.
Oh,
Your birthday's
I'm-
soon.
I'm
Yeah.
43. Did you say 42?
Me, I'm 32.
32. Okay.
Yeah.
32.
All right. Well, I just showed my age. Yep. That's great.
You're doing
played
you're
your
doing
card.
good. You're
Yeah.
doing good.
Again, just for men, not sponsored. Listen, when I wake up in the morning, my beard doesn't just look like this. I mean, this takes at least a good minute.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
Right. I see a beard sponsorship in my future.
I've been thinking about shaving my beard. I've had my beard for 10 years or more. I can't remember. It was around 10 years now. I'm thinking it could be time for a change. I don't know
So
what it
you're
would
giving
be
up
like.
woodworking, or
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically. Giving
kinda
up
how
it
it goes.
all
You-
to shave the beard.
Like when you were 17, you started growing a beard because you started woodworking. You see, it's not like the beard just happened.
Yeah.
I had a guy, Brendan, with All American Maker on the podcast, and he does these really cool logos and stuff. Let me show you one of the things. So for those of you watching the stream, so
Nice.
it's like a tin. Yeah, it's really cool designs and stuff like that. And he said that he had a request. Somebody said, "Well, why don't you have any female like woodworkers or whatever?" And I told him, I said, "Well, every one of your designs has a beard on it." And so I was like, "You got to make the bearded woodworker, the bearded lady,
Bearded lady woodworker.
Yeah.
It's an untapped market.
Yeah, for sure." It's like, hey, I don't
Well,
discriminate. You just have to have a
You
beard.
know how in Austin Powers they had this female. I don't know much about it, but I still visually remember she had this metallic bra on with the guns
Yeah.
on it.
You mean Beyonce?
You could do that with a saw blade.
There you go.
I'm kidding. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Solid.
Yeah, I could see it now. Nail guns. You're like, oh, is that an 18-inch or 18 gauge brad nail, or what is that?
16.
I like 23s.
Yeah, 23s myself. Pin nails. I'm telling you, that's when I took the dog out. I had some 23 gauge popping out.
Oh.
This is off the tracks. I'm not even to the first holiday question.
Yeah.
So,
Santa.
Santa, I was asking about what do you think you're going to get this year? What do you think, Suman? What are you getting?
So one of the presents for my wife I got early already.
Oh, yeah, I know
It
what this
is-
is.
Yeah, it's a camera lens. So
Oh, which
it's
one
a
is
nice
that?
Fancy,
It's the most expensive one you could possibly think of.
Sigma?
no, it's the Canon 85 1.2 RF version. So
Okay.
I've wanted the 1.2 for a really long time. For those of you who are not camera people, I'm sorry. It's hard to explain what without
Right.
explaining what it is.
Yeah.
That's a nice lens. I've been wanting it for a long time, so it's nice to have it. But actually, all of the other presents came from sponsors. So
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
I have
Weird flex, but that's fine.
There's always a weird flex with Suman, you know? You never know when there's a flex coming, but just prepare yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
All right.
sure they.
Anybody,
I'm sure
anybody
they
on the
have-
stream watching, go ahead and start keeping count for us, would you please?
I'm still waiting for my damn track saw over here. I don't know about you.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. You just gotta have them ship it to Suman.
And then I'll
He
ship
probably
it to
has
you,
it.
Scott. And then I'll ship it to you, Scott.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
No, so it's been really nice. There's one tool that I have in the shop right now from a company that I'm starting new work with. I'm excited for it, but I guess I count it as a Christmas present at this point because
Nice.
it came in yesterday, I think. So
Very
I'm excited
cool.
for that.
But man, now we're all like waiting with bated breath. I know you can't say here. Don't worry about
can't
it.
say.
I'll say it. I don't think
No,
Don't say.
don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it.
I have contracts, Scott.
Yeah.
There's no NDA.
Yeah. What about you, Scott? What's Santa bringing, or Mrs. Claus?
Okay. This is gonna sound really lame, but like I'm really excited because I wanted a pair of slippers.
Ooh.
Yeah.
The Crocs.
You,
No. I'm rocking Crocs right now, actually, but I want a pair of these all wool glare up slippers.
I gotta say,
that's
for
what I'm excited
32,
about.
you've really embraced that.
He's in the 50s.
Yeah.
Mentally. Yeah.
I'm all about that senior lifestyle. I'm already
Usually-
started.
Usually 35s when the Crocs, start happening.
Yeah,
And
that's happened early too.
have you guys seen that commercial where like you're turning into your parents or whatever?
No, I haven't.
Yeah,
Yes.
these people, yeah, they're like, oh, it's a bit drafty in here. Like it's all the things that your parents said, and these people are turning into their parents.
I'm fine with that. I've got
Yeah.
no problems
Scott,
with that.
Are you into smoking meats yet and barbecue in general?
No, but I really want to be like so bad.
Yeah.
So this
Oh,
summer might be the summer of the smoker for
Well, I
Scott.
mean, you're moving into this new place. It just makes sense.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You got to buy yourself a nice, housewarming gift.
Yeah, I mean, literally warming.
Yeah,
smoker,
right. Hopefully, it doesn't warm your house.
a little bit of carbon monoxide. Is no problem.
It's fine. Yeah, just do it inside the garage or the basement. It's fine.
No, like honestly, slippers. Like I don't know. I don't want anything woodworking related. Like to me, it almost seems like
You want to buy it?
It's like sad to say. It kind of seems like a work thing now. It's like I just got a domino. I just bought a domino, and like 5 years ago, I'd have been super stoked to buy a domino, and now I'm like, I just needed it for a video, and like not that I'm passing it off.
I'm sorry. Was that a weird
flex? That's a weird flex.
it's
I'm
not
calling that one out.
Okay, it could be. That's fine if you think of a weird flex, but I'm
Wait.
genuinely not that excited about it anymore.
Every domino video or post that I make, it's like, wow, really wish I could afford one of those.
Okay, yeah. Like I'm sorry, that sounded really high up on a
18
pedestal, but it's I'm truly coming from a place where it just doesn't excite me that much anymore. I like the process, but the tools don't really excite me that much anymore.
Yeah, that was your Canadian popping out. The process.
Oh, sorry.
process.
I'm trying to work on it because I'm trying to assimilate to the American audience. But every now and again, I say process, and someone in the comments is like, "Oh, it's how's it going, Derry?"
Oh my gosh, you get that a lot in your videos?
A little bit, yeah.
Really?
I noticed you got a lot more of that earlier on, Scott, than you do now.
Yeah. There's only so many ways you can make fun of a Canadian until it gets old.
Right. Yeah. I'm not even gonna attempt. Yeah.
Try me.
So
Yeah, right. Oh, I'm sure you have.
I love that Scott isn't excited about a domino because it speaks to so many things that is quintessentially Scott, and that is, it's got to be his way, and what he likes. And domino is not one of them. He just had to buy it for a video.
All right, let's talk Mr. $1,000 custom double square. No joke, Suman
We're going there.
paid a custom tool maker probably close to $1,000 for a 6-inch double square.
Ooh, wow, that's
Now-
impressive.
Yeah.
It's a pretty square.
Do you use it often?
He doesn't use it
I
at
haven't
all.
really built much things lately, but I made a dining table recently. I used it for.
Yeah.
Yeah, it mostly looks pretty.
It's very gorgeous, I got to admit, but man,
Yeah.
that's excessive. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm gonna do a little bit of a weird flex too again.
Keeping count.
So, I don't know. I think there's a point where the tools that you get or keep are more like jewelry in some sense than anything else, where you kind of care about how pretty it is more so than the function. I never was that guy. I'm like, I care about the function of the tool, but now I'm kind of more interested in the prettier version of certain things. And so I really wanted to get the Veritas chisels, the PM11 chisels. The full set is out of stock right now, and I reached out to Veritas and I was like, guys, do you happen to have a set around somewhere that I can get a hold of? And they were like, we're sorry, Suman, but these are the ones we have, and that's all we can send you right now. I'm like, all right, fine. So then I went to buy the Narex Richter chisels, because I'm thinking like I kind of want to feel them because people have been talking so much about it. So I got them, and they're nice, but the handles I just really don't care for at all. I think they're hideous looking.
Yeah.
And so I had this gentleman make a custom Coca-Cola handle for one of my hand planes, and I reached out to him like, hey, these are the dimensions.
Oh, nice.
Could we do something with that? So today he got back to me and he's like, yeah, we can do something with that. So I'm really excited about it. But those are the things that excite me now.
What's funny is someday you're going to pass all these tools on, and they're going to be like, what is this? Like, I don't
Why
recognize.
would someone put Coca-Cola handles on such an average chisel?
Yeah. You like my zebra wood handles on this thing? Yeah. So Scott, going back to smoking. So I'm going to be smoking a prime rib for Christmas.
Can I come?
Nice.
Right? Yeah. Feel free. Well, it's 8 pounds, but so you better come fast.
I only need like a half pound. It's fine.
Oh, there's so many jokes there.
So when did you get into smoking, Matt? At what age? I want to predict my future a little bit.
Well, you see, I started smoking when I was a kid.
Doctor said it wasn't good for me.
That's right. It was probably 3 or 4 years ago. So I'm originally from California, and out there it's not as big as it is in Texas. In Texas, like, it's a thing, like it's a championship sport, and so I don't compete, or I'm not to that level. I'm barely a backyard smoker, griller, but yeah, I can do a pretty good brisket, I think.
Nice.
I don't
Well,
know.
this
Let my
summer
wife
when
be the
I'm
judge of
looking
that.
to invest, I'm gonna come knocking on your door, and
Right,
you can tell me what
exactly.
to buy.
Yeah. No, I just like everything, like woodworking related. I watched 100 YouTube videos on, and then this one's the best smoker because this, reason. And then the next video is like, that smoker sucks because this, so you're like, which one do I buy? I don't know.
I feel the same way about crosscut sleds.
You know what? I have some videos that can help you, Suman, and
Yeah.
plans too.
Right. But you're going to send him the first version first,
Without-
not the end all be all sled.
Yeah.
Make him work his way through it.
It's a journey, really, truly.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So there's this gentleman in Buffalo region who has a restaurant, like more of a barbecue centric restaurant, and he's got such a fascinating history. So his parents are Mexican and Indian. He grew up in Texas, and then he moved to Buffalo, and he
Wow.
does Texas style Southeast Asian barbecue. It's so strange but so
Wow. That's the fusion of all fusions right there.
good.
Interesting.
I love Indian food, I love Mexican food, and I love Texas food. New York, all I had, basically was home cooked stuff or pizza. So I can't really judge that kind of thing, but yeah, I could eat the mess out of Indian food. So if you combine that with Texas stuff, you got something there.
It's really good, really really good.
Yeah. So do you guys have any like traditions in your house? Like food traditions, something that you always have to have around the holidays?
Yeah. So where I grew up in Newfoundland, we have a traditional dinner. It's called Jigs dinner. And basically what that is it's salted beef, and you stick it in a massive pot and you fill it with vegetables. Usually it's cabbage, turnip, potato, carrots, parsnips, and something like that. So you let this thing boil for 4 hours straight, and all the vegetables just soak up all the salt from the beef. And that's
Wow.
it. It's really easy. It's kind of cheap, and it's like there's nothing fancy about it. But man, it is fantastic on Christmas Day. And that growing up, that was Christmas Day dinner. Christmas Eve dinner would have been like a rabbit stew or something like that.
Right. Oh, okay. Yeah, what you were describing, that other dish, what was it called?
Jigs dinner, like
Jigs dinner.
you're doing a jig and a reel sort of dance.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, so Tic-Tac.
Interesting.
Sure.
Yeah, on TikTok, I call it Tic-Tac because I'm old and I can do that.
I don't even have a TikTok account. That's how
Oh,
senior
really?
I am. Yeah.
Oh,
I
wow.
didn't even reserve my username. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's one
Let somebody else
platform
do
I
it.
don't need to be on.
Yeah.
I actually did reserve my username for TikTok, and then I think I posted a couple of reels, and then I lost the password, and I just didn't bother to go back to it. I'm like,
Oh,
it,
yeah.
let it live, let
Yeah.
it live.
You probably have 1 million followers at this point, the way that
Yeah,
that platform grows.
That's a
It's very
missed
possible.
opportunity to flex, Suman.
Right. Yeah. -1 on the flexing. You're back to 1.
So, so in terms of the traditions and food, I don't. So my wife is Polish and German, and so anything Christmas related, I tend to lean on her traditions and her family traditions, because I'm technically born Muslim. I don't really practice Islam at all. But I like to celebrate Christmas. I like a lot of things about it. So I tend to default to their thing, but I honestly don't know what is Catholic, German, Polish, what part is which.
Yeah.
I just know what the foods are and what song I'm supposed to sing. So,
You know the carols. That's all that matters.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All of the
that's-
pierogies, all of the
you got a
pierogies
mixing
are
pot.
actually, yeah. And they do pierogies, like, homemade pierogies and everything. And they're all hanging out in my house right now because we bought a freezer, it's like a chest freezer. So we had the space. They're hanging out. And tomorrow they're coming out and going to be delicious.
Oh, nice.
Freezer full of pierogies.
Yeah.
Matt,
There
do
you
you
go.
have any Christmas? Is the prime rib smoked? Is that a Christmas tradition?
This is a first for Christmas. So I'm taking a bit of a gamble. I've never smoked a prime rib before. And just, it's going to be the main course. No pressure. Having all the family over. But if I've done a brisket before, prime rib should be fine. I say
Don't
that.
forget-
I'll let you know.
Don't
But
forget to save half a pound of meat.
right.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Send it your way. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can stick it in the mail.
You're right. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say cinnamon rolls on Christmas morning.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
a
we-
new one for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I love a good cinnamon roll.
Yeah, cinnamon rolls on Christmas morning. It's been kind of like we did it so both my wife's family and I did cinnamon rolls on Christmas morning. So growing up, so when we got married, that was automatically something we did. Now the only difference is that my wife growing up, she was an only child, so she always got the first cinnamon roll on Christmas. So that tradition still continues. But now we have 2 kids, so there's a little bit of a war there, like who's gonna get it? But they know, like, okay, that's mom's cinnamon roll. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And
I
I
always try-
clean shop, like, okay, let everybody have their first pass. Okay, now it's open season. I'm going to town.
Oh, I thought you meant you cleaned the shop as your Christmas tradition, like
No,
physically clean
no.
your shop.
Oh, no. I clean the plate. Yeah. The icing, the whole thing, right? Yeah. Yeah. I'm auditioning to be Santa, some year. So
Got it. Got it.
working on my Santa bod. What about let's go. What about a favorite Christmas or favorite holiday song? We don't have to stick with Christmas. Holiday song.
Oh. I have way too many. I studied music. I don't know. Probably.
Well, yeah, you're a drummer and
Yeah. I don't know. Joni Mitchell River is one of my favorite Christmas songs. It's so sad. I mean, I'm a big fan of really sad music because I think generally I'm a very happy person. So any Christmas song that's like really sad. Another Canadian, Ron Sexsmith, he has a really beautiful Christmas song as well. But yeah, I don't know. Also, Frank
Yeah.
Sinatra, Christmas Waltz. That's a classic that I
oh,
love.
that's a classic.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
That's a good top 3 for me.
Yeah.
Oh, wait,
So-
sorry.
so-
One more. The Pogues, Fairy Tale of New York. That's just awesome.
Oh, I don't think I know that one.
They're an Irish group.
Okay.
It's just, well, yeah. just listen to it, and everyone can have a good time with that one.
Well, I asked for one song. Scott gave us 4, so that's 3 weird flexes for Scott.
I love music. Suman probably doesn't have any, so I took his turn.
You should have messaged him. You should have texted him and said, "Say this." I'll go.
To seem musically cultured, you need to say this song,
Right.
song, and this song.
So while you're thinking of it, I'll go with mine. Mine is Feliz Navidad, because
Yeah.
there's when it's like the Chia, like I said in the intro, the Chia Pet or the clapper, that those kind of usher in the holiday season for me. It's when I hear Feliz Navidad, I know it's Christmas. So we have this thing. If the first person in the family, between my mother-in-law, my daughter, my wife, if somebody hears Feliz Navidad, we text the other people to say, like, okay, I heard it, so we can start Christmas now.
That's a
Yeah.
nice
That's super
tradition.
sweet.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's sweet. Yeah, that's really great. So for me, lately, it's been on YouTube. There's this 10-hour long song, and it's titled SHH Black Screen. And basically, it's for Scott might not be familiar with this song. It's really popular. It's got like 4 million views. It's shh, 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 just continuously for 10 hours. And
What?
I use that song religiously to get my daughter to sleep.
Nice.
that's
yes. Yeah. That now that you mentioned that, that's when we were when our kids were little. Yeah, you're sitting there, you're doing the bounce thing. You're going shh, shh, shh,
Yep.
shh,
Yep.
shh, shh. It's like you can shh all the way.
Yep, you can. Absolutely.
I like the auto-tune version myself.
Oh yeah. So Scott, you're a musician also. So it says on your profile, drummer and musician, which they're kind of both, right? Drummer is a musician.
Yeah, it's like musician first, but drums is my instrument, right?
Okay.
So yeah, I studied jazz a long
Okay.
time ago, and then in Toronto during my 20s, I played a lot of live music, mostly in like the indie rock sort of scene. It was a huge part of my life. It still is, but my life took a different direction. I studied engineering, and now the YouTube business is a big part of my life too. So
Right.
I don't have a whole lot of time for music, but one of these days when some time clears up, I'm gonna get back behind the kit and hopefully get on stage again, because I really miss playing live.
Yeah. So not going to be doing any Christmas songs with the family.
No.
Yeah. But do you play other instruments besides drums?
Guitar and
okay.
sing as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, very cool.
I have never heard you sing. We got to work that in somehow.
Well, in one of my
Workbench-
YouTube videos, I think I sang a little bit of Blink-182.
Oh, he's
No
doing
kidding.
the outro, Simon, for the podcast.
Yeah, oh, okay. This is
Yeah.
great. I'm
What
looking forward
song
to
is
that.
it?
Yeah. I don't know. You tell us.
So someone give me some music.
So Matt, my strategy was, go to Workbench Con, get him super drunk,
Yeah.
and then get him to talk about music.
Yeah,
And then eventually and invariably it'll lead into singing.
Somebody will say, "Sing for us."
I don't
Yeah.
need to be drunk.
Yeah. They do at and I haven't been yet, but up at Maker Camp they do karaoke, I think, right? So that might be your chance next year.
Yeah, there's a bit of
Go to
karaoke
Maker
going on at Workbench Con too. I feel bad I didn't go to Maker Camp. I was too busy to go, but both Suman and I are so close. I mean, Suman's very close. I'm probably a 4 or 5 hour drive away. I could have gone, but
Yeah.
I couldn't.
I was supposed to go, and I slacked. I put it on the vacation calendar and everything. I had it blocked out for work and all that, and then I waited too long to buy the plane ticket and the hotel, and then I was like, well, I could camp, but I'm not gonna like fly in camp. If I'm gonna camp, I'm bringing all the stuff that I need, and I couldn't drive, and so it didn't work for me this year. But next year, I'm gonna make it a priority.
And as I understand it, the spaces, like hotel spaces in that area, is fairly limited. So if you don't have it booked, it's going to be very hard to find a spot.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I don't do well if I can't plug in my CPAP, and 'cause somebody will yell into my tent, "Shut up!"
From like 10 tents over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we should all book our hotel right now.
That's right. Actually, I did hear that they were booking up already
For
like
Workbench
after-
Con or?
No, for Maker Camp.
for Maker
Oh my
Camp.
God. Okay.
Yeah.
I actually need to book my hotel for Workbench Con. I haven't done it yet. So.
But I think also people were saying, VRBO and stuff like that to do that type of thing instead. I don't know.
I don't
'Cause-
even know what those words mean.
It's basically an Airbnb.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I know what
that's
that
okay.
is.
Yeah.
I've had many horrible experiences with Airbnb
Yeah. You're like,
involving
Like-
many spiders
oh,
and
Yeah, I
very
guess 'cause
large ones.
sometimes those houses go just for months without any guests in them. So yeah, they don't.
Ugh. We're not going down that road.
Are you guys doing a workbench con?
Oh yeah,
Okay, I'll see you there.
We'll definitely be there.
Okay.
Mhm,
Sick.
We'll definitely be there.
it's a fun
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Were you there
Yeah.
last year?
I was there last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my first year.
Same with me. Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't cross paths. There's a lot going on.
And it's so awkward sometimes, it's if you don't have friends or whatever that are going, like I knew people that were going and I got to hang out with them. But then if they're off in another conversation, there's that whole like, I don't want to walk up and talk to people and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
But you have to get out of your comfort zone.
You definitely do. It's a little clicky too, but if you just like wiggle your way in, it'll
Right.
be fine.
Yeah.
You know?
I had some guy that came up and he was like, hey, what's your name or whatever. And so we started talking. He's like, yeah, I don't really know anybody. So I'm like, dude, come hang out with me. Let's go. Like,
Yeah.
For sure.
and most people are like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. We're all introverts. if I feel
yeah.
like.
Woodworkers
And then-
are introverts by nature.
And then we go to these events and everybody gets out of their shell. But then like when you go to your room at the end of the night, you're like, okay, I'm done. Like I don't want
Exhausted
another,
out.
I don't want another human being. Like even podcasts wear me out.
yeah.
Just having, I mean, it's good because we're talking about things that we enjoy, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're doing that kind of thing. And I think that's what amps us up at those events. But yeah, like if you're going to a wedding or something and people are just like, oh, so what do you do for work? You're like, oh,
Not
God, here
this
we go."
conversation again.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to just hand them a book, like here's what I do for work or something.
Yeah.
This
When
is a book about me. After you've read it, do you have
Right.
any questions?
Yeah, here's my blog. Check out my blog. You could submit a question at the bottom of the page.
Or your business card could just have a QR code to it that has
Yeah.
like everything, all the stats about you.
With the intro
And then-
video.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a weird flex, Suman.
Hey, I'll actually take that flex. I have a have you guys heard of Tappy cards? Or there's other versions of it. But basically it's a metal card and it's got the digital,
The near field
so
communication
you could
stuff.
tap your phone. Yeah. You tap your phone to it and it automatically goes to my little profile and stuff like that. So I have one of those, which is
That's
kind of nice.
super fancy.
Yeah. Weird flex one for that. I'll take it.
Yeah, I remember my voice giving out at Workbench Con. Just like I couldn't talk that much. It was so much
Too
talking.
much singing?
Too much talking. I mean, I wish it was singing, but too much talking. And you'd think that like I would talk a lot to the camera or whatever, but I just don't have that sort of vocal stamina. So
Yeah.
it's I'm gonna start preparing and training my voice just to talk a lot more.
Well, you'll be preparing for the outro of this podcast. So
Yeah.
Yeah, you can put yourself on mute, do all of the vocal exercises that you need to do, get it out of the way. That's okay.
that's right. No, then I don't know if you guys. I posted a video last week. It was like different types of podcasters, and one of them was the muter. There's like, I don't know. I do like meetings, like Zoom meetings for work and stuff like that. And there's always somebody on a call that's like, "Oh, sorry, I was on mute." I'm like, really? We've been doing this thing for like 3 years now. You would think that you know how to like unmute yourself.
Nope.
Yeah. There's Scott singing his heart out, but he's on mute, and we miss it.
Tragic.
He's actually a throat singer, so you can't tell. When he's smiling, he's still singing.
That's all right. What is it, ventriloquist?
A ventriloquist.
Yeah.
Oh my.
So do you guys, going back to the food, right? Because it's all about food for me.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So no family recipes that you like? I mean, besides Suman, any like specific kind of thing, or
Oh yeah, I mean the pierogies are a very specific recipe.
that is for that.
They also make kruszczyki, which is a very specific recipe. So there's a whole bunch of these things that Alicia, my wife's grandfather, has kind of cultivated over many years, and so he has to be present for the making of all of these things.
So it's like
at this
passed
point in
down.
time. Yeah. It's I don't think at this point it has been written down yet. I think we need to work on that soon. But yeah, no,
Engrave it on a cutting board.
yeah. But no, he definitely supervises the whole process, and he's very strict. You have to pass his quality control, otherwise that pierogi or kushtiki is not making it.
Oh wow! Like slaps you in the face.
Oh yeah, I mean he's
You're a
like he's
disgrace to the
96.
family.
He's 96, and when he like is displeased with something, you know.
So when he walks in the room, everybody gets real quiet. Like, oh, it's the moment of truth.
Pretty much, it's like
Will
single
Suman
file.
be disowned from the family? We never
He
saw him ever
actually-
since.
It's so touching. So he, unfortunately, his memory isn't the best at this point in time. But I've had the pleasure of knowing him for almost a decade now, and earlier on, I was just some guy around kind of thing, and now he fully understands that I'm gonna be around for a while, and so
He won't go
we-
away.
yeah. So we've gotten to know each other a lot more, and so he still is very, very independent. He lives on his own property, still takes care of himself, which is remarkable. But when he fled Poland during World War II, prior to that, he used to be a woodworker. He worked in a working shop, and he brought in some of his tools.
Oh.
And kind of around before, my wife and I got married, he actually gave me all of his tools. So
Cool.
it's really, really heartfelt, and obviously I have them. But yeah, I think he likes me now. To me, that was like the moment.
He's a woodworker. I like him.
Yeah. He was quiet, kind of like reserved about all of the things about my presence and everything.
Yeah.
But then one day he's like, "Hey, I want you to have all of my tools that I brought in from Germany." I'm like, "Whoa, that's big!
Wow.
Like that's really big,
That
That's
is
awesome.
cool.
Yeah. That makes that $1,000 tool seem like nothing now.
Yeah,
It's absolutely nothing."
meaningless.
Tony, if you're
Right.
listening, I'm sorry, bud.
Sorry, Tony. So I don't know if you guys listen to the podcast at all, but I typically do a game in the podcast.
All right.
We do different things. We do like a game called Yes or No, where I ask questions and you have to answer yes or no. I've done
No
a ga-
elaboration, just yes or no.
That's
Yeah,
going to be
it's-
very difficult for Suman.
So
Yes.
that's actually how I started that game. It was in the first episode, and I was like, okay, here's the rules, and you say yes or no, and then it was like the first like 3 or 4 questions. It got kind of awkward, and you could just tell that there was like this huge tension, and it was like, finally somebody's like, can we just like elaborate on it? And I'm like, okay, yeah, and they said, yeah, I think on the game you should. So they were kind of like on they were the forefathers of the game. So if you go back and listen to the first few episodes,
I guess it depends on the question. If you're like, do you like
Yeah.
your wife?
you're like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Can I explain?
So wait, is it rapid fire or am I allowed to think a bit?
well, let me get there. So there's rapid
Okay.
fire is another game that I play, but I typically do that like on a one-on-one conversation. I thought let's do a different game, and it's unnamed. So you guys are the first. This is a trial, and
Okay.
and we're live here on YouTube, so no pressure.
So it's now called the Scott and Suman game.
That's right. So here's and initially John was going to be on, so it was going to be a little bit different. So I'm kind of going to try to frame this up in a way that it works. I'm going to ask a question, and you guys see who can. If you think you can name the most, then you say how many that you think you can name.
Okay.
And then if like so Suman, if you're like, yeah, I can name 4, and Scott, you're like, oh, I think I could do 5. Okay.
Oh wow.
But if you can't do 5, the points go to Suman.
Okay.
Suman's gonna
Okay.
win this. He's like an
Stressful.
encyclopedia.
Okay.
No, dude, I know useless things. I don't know any useful things.
Well, I don't
There-
know what we're being asked.
Well, yeah. Yeah, me either. This is going to be fun. So we'll give this a trial run. And if it bombs, and we'll just edit it out.
Perfect.
All right, makes me feel better. It's all about the edit.
Right. Yeah, exactly. All right. So Name the most amount of woodworking joints.
Ooh, that's not fair. Scott is working on a video on woodworking joints as we speak. He filmed it this morning.
Oh, see, what's funny about these questions is I write these before I know any of this information, and always somehow they tie together. So, well, there might be one in there for you. Let's see.
I'm going to play it safe and say 8.
Yeah, no, you got it. You can take that on.
No, it was, well,
I can probably do 6.
6?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, crap. I said play it safe because I thought Suman was going to say a higher number.
This is actually strategic. I'm looking for you to fail.
Okay. So
okay.
So you said 6 or 8?
He said 8.
I said 8. Okay.
Okay,
Let's
ready?
hear him, joint boy.
All right.
We're gonna count to. Well, I'm watching the clock. We'll give you 10 seconds.
10 seconds. Oh my.
Just kidding.
Oh, what? Okay.
I just wanted to see your reaction.
Oh no. Okay. All right.
Yeah, see, I have to unveil the rules as the game goes on.
That's fine. I'm fluid.
I mean,
right.
it is a timed podcast, but that's fine. Take as much time as you need.
Okay.
We're all here waiting for you.
1, mortise and tenon. 2, dovetail. 3, box joint. 4, finger joint. It's different. 5, what else have I had? A dado. 6, rabbit. 7, scarf. 8, castle. There's more, but
Well
that's,
done.
That's what I got off the top of my head.
All right.
I'm glad scarf joint made that cut.
Thanks you. Yeah. It's like
that is impressive. You don't hear
that's
that
a
one
good
very
one.
often.
Well, okay, so the backstory with that is, here's your long explanation that you didn't want, is that scarf joints, A, are used in timber framing, which I think we all know, but B, I started woodworking making drums, plywood cylinders, basically.
Oh, yeah.
And good drum shells have the veneer joined as a scarf joint at the seam in a cylinder. The more you know.
There you go. Do, 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 do.
Yep.
All right. 8 for. See, I sang before Scott on the show here. Do, 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 do. There you go. All right, you're better. Weird flex. It's fine.
Let's harmonize.
Oh, now we're getting nerdy. I like it. All right, next one. How many power tool companies can you name?
Oh my God. I thought these were going to be small.
I'm gonna go ahead and just say 8 and see if I can make it.
Well, now I want to say a higher number, see if I can beat it. So wait, okay, let me clarify. Power tool companies can be machine or like handheld battery.
We're the
Power
architects of
tool.
this game. Let's.
It uses power of some kind.
Yeah.
So like Nielsen is not one of them.
Right.
Sure. You said 8. I feel like I can name more, but I feel like I should give you a turn. How do you
Okay.
feel?
I feel like I need to talk now. Okay, so we do Makita, DeWalt, what is it called? Heart Tools, I think.
Walmart.
Black and Decker, Works, Greenworks, Festool, Grizzly. How many did I get? I don't.
That's 8. A couple of more questionable, but we'll give it to you.
Okay, like the fact that you said Greenworks, the garden tool company, and then you said Festool right after that was kind of sus.
Yeah.
Well, no, I have a Greenworks pressure washer, like an electric pressure washer.
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That works. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's got an engine. It's a
got
little
an
different,
engine.
but yeah. All right. You're all tied up.
All right.
I mean, I would play, but that would be cheating.
He's got the answers.
Yeah.
200 companies listed already.
Right. Like,
Rack up
okay,
the points.
can you do more than 150? I'm just asking. And that's the outro of the. We lost all the listeners. Let's see. I'm going down the list just to see if I can mix it up.
Yep.
Okay, since we talked about power tools, categories of hand tools.
Categories.
So like screwdrivers.
Right. Oh, so like not even just the traditional woodworking stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
That's a tricky one.
categories.
Ooh.
I'm gonna say
Okay, I'm
6.
just gonna go for broke and say 10.
Ooh.
I don't even
Challenge.
know if I can do it.
Suman's like, forget it.
say
You're-
10.
Good
All
luck.
right.
All right, here we go.
All right, you already gave me one, but I'm gonna steal it anyway. Screwdrivers.
Okay.
B, chisels. C, planes. D. Wait, why am I doing A? B,
You did
D?
it in the video too.
Yeah, that was on purpose, but now I made myself do it. So I said 4.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
And you covered planes, like all planes in
well,
one.
that's category. Like you
Yeah,
can't say
yeah.
specifically. Okay.
Yeah.
So then 5. So I'm losing it. Wrenches. 6 sockets. 7.
He's got into car world.
Taps and dies. 8. Welders. 9.
Wait, no. Welder. Hand tool.
Hand tool.
Hand
Sorry. I forgot. I screwed this up.
Does that disqualify him? I feel like
File.
it should.
Okay, files. Let's say files. 9.
One mulligan.
Yeah, thank you. Oh God, I'm losing it.
Uh-oh.
I'm losing it. Alls.
That's-
It's a category.
I mean,
And
yes, but I feel like there was a big delay there.
10 saws. I forgot about saws.
Wow, you barely made it. I was ready to call it.
Got
The points almost went to Suman.
It's all right.
All right, you're at 18. You're at 18. Now I got to find one that I think you can get 10 on. That's going to be difficult. Okay. We'll do this one, and then we'll see if we have to have a tiebreaker. How many types of hardwoods can you name?
Oh, Suman's got me beat there.
Probably 10.
Okay, I'm gonna say. I'll just.
Googles.
Yeah. I'll say comfortably 9. Go for it, Suman.
Okay, so I'm gonna name some obscure ones just because you can't fact check me fast enough.
Suman wood.
So let's start with some exotic. Ebony, blackwood, cocobolo. We can do some outdoor furniture woods like grappa, teak, ipe. So that's 6. We have maple, walnut, cherry, alder,
That's 10.
sycamore.
You're
Okay.
there. Wow, he was even breaking it down into categories.
No.
Can we get the Jenga scale on those, or is that...
I actually went down the scale. Actually, if you think
Oh, see, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we're with a couple of engineers tonight in the podcast. So that's 10. All right, you guys are tied up, so we got to do a tiebreaker.
Okay, this one's for real. Okay, no joking around this time.
Since John's not here, we can do this one. But, well, okay, let's go with it. Name the tools in John's shop by name.
Like
Interesting.
full brand and model.
It's got to be, he's got like, what is it? Drill Chewbacca or whatever.
Oh, by those names.
Yes.
Oh, my God. Oh shoot! I have no idea. I know it's a shtick he uses to get people to buy into his
this T-shirt
videos.
game.
Yeah.
I mean,
could
he's
probably name
obviously a huge
3.
Star Wars 3. Oh, I think I can name. I'm gonna say 4 because I don't know.
Okay.
If yeah.
Suman,
okay,
you want to go for
4.
5?
I can't go for 5. No way.
Okay.
So I'm up.
Yeah.
You're up. You got
Okay.
4 for the tiebreaker. If you can't, now we should have somebody fact check.
I can fact check for you because I've been to his shop.
Okay.
Okay. Ryobi Wan Kenobi.
Yep.
Princess Plana.
That's true.
Yeah.
Han
a good one.
Solo.
Yes.
Solo.
Yeah.
I think.
Yep.
Jabba the Hutt.
Nailed it. All right. Winner.
Sick. Chicken dinner.
All right. Very good. You won absolutely nothing.
Oh.
So, yeah.
I think the other one was a C-3PO was his band song.
Yes. That one doesn't even make sense to me because it's
Yeah.
tall.
I guess.
So I automatically anticipated that John wasn't going to win, and so I was going to have him be the tiebreaker, like to fact check. But since he couldn't make it tonight,
You know, you're probably right.
So what did you guys think of the game?
It's good.
Yeah,
I like it. You gotta keep
It's-
it. The Scott
Okay.
Suman
It's more-
game should live on.
the ScottSuman. People are going to be like, "What's ScottSuman?" And I'm going to say it all in one word.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. It's one word.
You know, like when in reality shows, when there's the bromances or whatever, and they combine the names, the showmances.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are the
It'd be like
Scott-
it'd be
you,
like
you guys are the ScottSuman.
Skamon.
You guys are Skamon.
It's like the Brangelina, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Got
yeah.
it.
Yeah. All right. I'm not sure if that name will stick, but at least it's at least while you're on the podcast tonight, it is.
We
We'll
can
just-
make it happen.
All right. So back to the holiday quizzing. Just got a couple more.
Yeah.
So, what is one thing that you got when you were a kid that you wish you still had today?
Ooh, interesting. So I can talk about this. So I came to the U.S. in 2001, and so my family is originally from Bangladesh, and we immigrated here on like a immigration visa lottery kind of thing. So like I think you get to apply, and if you win the lottery, then you get to truly apply to come to the U.S. with the provision that you would become a U.S. citizen if you go through all the steps. It's like the whole long process. And so prior to coming in, it's like a 3-year, I think, paperwork, interview, logistics process. And I was like, I don't know, I think I was like 8 or something. And we had to do an interview at the American Embassy in Bangladesh. And in that interview, like they didn't ask my parents any questions to seek authenticity and stuff, because some people try to fake their family members and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so the interviewer only asked me questions in English with the translator. I was an 8-year-old who didn't speak English and was terrified at the whole process. But apparently, all things considered, I did really well because, obviously the interviewer, kind of give us the green light and everything. And my dad was so excited and thrilled about it because he was so nervous about the whole thing. And I was like, oh, an 8-year-old could make up a fake story just for fun, right?
Yeah.
And so he took me out and bought me this, I think it was like a Transformer robot at the time.
Nice.
And so I had this Transformer robot, and when, after I grew up a little bit, I guess my uncle still kept it. And so when I went back to visit like a decade ago, they still had it. And so I got to play with it, which is really
No
cool
way.
to see. Yeah.
Nice.
They didn't let you take it?
I mean, it didn't really matter all that much to me.
He has it. He's lying.
Right.
So what I have here,
He's just yeah. My family might be watching. All my family watches all my stuff. No, does your family watch any of your videos?
my parents actually do. I
Yeah.
think they used to more so than nowadays. They don't really watch it anymore.
Yeah.
So
you've
which is
gotten worse.
unfortunate. Yeah, I know. Right? In my mind, I'm thinking
used
like
to
I've gotten a
captivate
little
them.
better. Yeah. They used to comment on my videos, I think,
Yeah.
from the early on. That was really sweet because, I have like Southeast Asian parents who they don't really believe in this whole artistical pursuits of anything creative. Which is kind of ironic because to defy them, I got a fine arts degree as well. And so now
I have a degree in it. Okay, leave me alone.
So I think it's hilarious that
Yeah.
they kind of came back around and support something as strange as being a woodworker on YouTube. Like,
Right.
what? So
Yeah. You're like, I have a master craftsman degree. Okay, I'm a master craftsman. Basically, I just whittle. Okay.
YouTube University, baby.
Yeah. What about you, Scott? Any toys that you wish you stir, or not? Doesn't have to be toy, but anything that you had when you were a kid that
So this is not really a physical thing, but I think like the present that made the biggest impact on me the most, so this was for my birthday, but it's close enough to Christmas, so we can just group it into Christmas. My parents got me drum lessons. when I was
Oh.
8 years old, and that's when I like started drumming, and that was my favorite gift as a kid, and it's
Yeah.
still my favorite gift as an adult because drumming and music was such a huge part of my life, and it still is.
Right.
It's kind of a non-answer because it's not something physical, but
Right.
it was huge for me, and it still is huge.
Which pays more, drumming or woodworking?
What? YouTube.
Yeah.
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 I mean, I've never sold anything as a woodworker. Before I went back to school for engineering, I worked full time in like customer service, and so I told myself I would never, ever, ever, ever deal with a customer ever again.
Right.
So I
That's
refuse.
smart.
Basically, I don't want to make money off woodworking. Clearly,
Yeah.
I wanted to make money off content creation,
Right.
so I continue to do that. But as long as I don't have to deal with the general public, I'm
Right.
fine.
Both of you do fantastic social media stuff. I mean, your videos are great, entertaining, and informative. And Suman's like his up close, his foley kind of stuff that you do. I mean, both of you guys top notch. Obviously, use great video equipment and stuff like that. So yeah, I can see that would make a good career for you. And drumming can just be the hobby part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mine is a Darth Vader Hot Wheels case.
Whoa. But the case.
What's
yeah.
a case?
So when I was little, they used to have these cases that you would put your Hot Wheels in, and it was in the shape of a Darth Vader helmet. And you basically if you fold it up, there's like the helmet. You fold the helmet up. Inside, they're like all displayed there. Apparently, those things are worth a lot of money these days.
Oh, wow.
But-
you don't
Do you
have
still
it.
have it?
I don't have it. Yeah. And
Oh no.
yeah. So it was, that's one of those like things. And I wouldn't necessarily want it for the money because I would want to keep it, right? It's not
Yeah.
worth anything if you still have it, basically, is the way that I see it. If you never intend to sell it, is what I mean. But it's just something that just reminds me of when I see it like in old movies and stuff like that. I'll catch a glimpse of something like in the Hot Wheels stuff, and I'm like, oh, it's just something that reminds me of that. It's basically the age that my son is right now.
Nice.
So my
Yeah.
son is 7, and it's just like to see him playing with cars, which he plays with video games most of the time now, which is great. Using his imagination, I guess. Shooting people at 7, which is great. Yeah, we're teaching him great things.
I built
I
a
used
lot
to-
of those model cars as a kid, like the ones that
Is
came
that
in
right?
the kits that you snap together. And
My brother used to do that.
yeah,
He had a whole workshop in his closet, basically, like had shelves and stuff like that. And he was just in his closet sniffing the CA glue.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I love that smell.
Yeah.
Brings me right back.
Yep. Comes out with his fingers glued together, like, You're like, you could use some Starbond debonder for that.
Wait,
I used to when
a
I
thing?
came to the States, another I guess toy story very quickly, but when I came to the States, I didn't speak any English at all, and my dad was really adamant about getting me to learn and pick up the language quickly because in order to go through education here, you kind of need to learn English
Right.
and know English. And obviously the whole reason why they made all of the sacrifices is for me to come here to get a great education. And so he was like, if you can speak English as well as that kid over there, I will buy you a Game Boy Color. This was like the silver edition. Back in the day.
Yeah.
Dude, did I ever get as motivated?
Hello,
as
my name is Suman, and I can speak perfectly fluent English.
So
excuse
that
me
was-
while I play Pokemon Gold.
Right. And he's like,
Yep.
oh, no, I meant the King's English. You're like, dang it.
So needless to say, I did get my Game Boy Color, and that was fantastic.
Nice. Yeah. I still, yeah. Did you guys ever watch Stranger Things?
Oh yeah, big fan.
Did that not
Yeah.
bring you back to like the day?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'm a decade older, but
yeah, it's a little bit
still-
before my time, but it's still yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could still pick up on the nostalgia of it, right? Like you're more '90s kids, and I was an '80s kid.
Yeah.
Technically, I'm a '70s kid because I was born in December of '79.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but you're still an '80s kid. Like I think even
Yeah.
like someone who was born in '75 would have been an '80s kid, right? Like 'cause
Right.
they weren't really like cognizant of the world until the '80s.
Right. Yeah. My mother-in-law, she's still, I think, just wants to be trapped in the '80s. We are constantly making fun of her because she's just like,
Like the hairdo and everything.
no. She looks very contemporary, so not
Okay.
like that. But like when they moved out of their house, they had the cherry blossom tree, the pink cherry blossom tree. They had the couches that were pink and blue and things like that.
Pastels. Yeah.
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 Cindy
Yeah.
Lauper going crazy.
Cindy Lauper. And every time she, will hear a song, she's like, "Oh, I just love that song." The '80s, that was a good time though. Y'all missed
Yeah.
out.
Well, that's it.
I mean, the
90s was pretty good.
'90s was all boy bands.
Wow.
Now-
They're alternative rock? Come on. It's
Yeah.
like
My wife is born in '85, and so she's all about the boy bands.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to get a little JT every once in a while.
Right. Yeah, it's all you have to be NSYNC or Backstreet Boys or something. There's a couple others, but yeah.
This little band called the Backstreet
Back-
Boys. No one's ever
yeah.
heard of them.
Yeah. Has-beens. I'm more of an all for one. No, just kidding. Okay. Favorite Christmas movie?
I'm going to say Christmas Story.
Classic.
Like the one that's the one sorry, that's the one like you'll shoot your eye out kid, right?
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That one. Love that one.
Yeah. The Red Rider.
Yeah. That's
Interesting.
a great
So
one.
for me, so I'm not a huge.
You're not into Christmas. Yeah. Holiday.
No.
Holiday.
But I will say though, so like Home Alone, I don't know when it came out exactly, but I know when I watched it, I didn't speak English. And then I slowly like rewatched it over the years because they would play it on TV like every year pretty much, right? And I kind of like picked up more and more information about it. And so I guess in theory,
How to Stop a Burglar.
yeah, that's kind of my Christmas movie. But Die Hard also would be another one. I would say.
Yeah, so I was watching another podcast. I was watching the guys from Sawdust Nation podcast, and they were doing a little bit of the holiday thing this last week, and they asked this question. That's where I was like, oh, I should ask these guys that. So giving them credit where credit is due for this question, and my answer, because I'm a Patreon of theirs, and so I was commenting on it, I said Die Hard, and there's a lot of contention. It's like, is Die Hard a really a Christmas movie? I'm like, yeah, absolutely, it's a Christmas
100%.
movie. Yeah,
It's a Christmas action movie.
yeah,
It's actually been a while since I've seen it, but I think actually on Christmas Day, myself and my girlfriend Rachel, we're gonna watch Die Hard. I think we've already
it.
discussed
Do it.
this, and it's gonna happen.
Phil Works says in the chat, Christmas Vacation. That's another good one.
That's with what's his name, right?
Chevy Chase.
Yeah. It's been a while since I've seen that one, but I remember some scenes.
Yeah, this is where I get to use my censor button. The guy says that the is full. Yeah,
I remember that.
yeah.
No,
I use
Scott-
the bleep button just so that way I don't get flagged on any of the. I could say it's not explicit content.
You're on
We-
the ball.
We toe the line.
We took the line. Scott, which Die Hard movie are you planning on watching? The original first one?
Yeah, the first
okay,
one.
Yeah. That's definitely the best one, and it's definitely the most Christmas feel-good, like family-friendly movie,
Yeah,
There's also the new
family
one.
friendly. Yeah, nice wholesome entertainment.
Yeah,
So also,
gives you all the fuzzies.
it's got a lot of ho-ho-ho and bloody gore. It's,
Yeah,
it's family-friendly.
That's
There's
right.
that new David Harbour movie that I want to see too. I think it's a Christmas movie, a take on Die Hard, but it's not actually Die Hard.
Oh, nice. I haven't seen that one.
No, it's in theaters right now. I think.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah,
I haven't been to the movies in a long time.
yeah.
Same.
I rarely go.
And yeah,
I'm kind of tempted to go out for the new Avatar movie just because the original was like such a visually compelling thing to see.
right.
Not that
Like,
the
Yeah,
story.
so both of you are creators, so you probably like a lot of those epic movies like I do. Right?
I'm
Like,
not. I'm not an epic movie fan. When I
Oh.
saw Avatar, I was like, what was the big deal? This was Pocahontas. I'm sorry, but
Oh,
unpopular opinion. But like,
Yeah.
I don't know why people were crying over that back in the day. That was a long time ago now, right?
That was in 2009. Yeah.
Wow, holy cow!
Yeah.
yeah. I
James
love
took
all the
his time
movies
with it.
like Chronicles of Narnia and stuff like that. That just kind of take you somewhere else rather than just I don't know, very inspirational type movies to me.
Yeah, for me, I really find a lot of appreciation for the visual effects and pushing the boundaries of what is possible at that time.
Right.
And I think, interestingly, I mean, not to get too into it, but James Cameron certainly pushes the envelope when it comes to the available technology to bring
Yeah.
his visions to life. I mean, the storytelling is kind of basic and pedantic, in my opinion, but the visuals, though, is really, really great. And so I tend to go there for the visuals mostly and the experience of watching something like that.
Yeah. So that brings me to a non-holiday related, but who inspires you guys in your content creation? I know you guys talk to each other quite a bit, and Suman writes all of your videos, Scott. But
Oh man, I made a recommendation on his script. I think was it yesterday or this morning, Scott?
Oh
I
my
forget.
god! Yeah,
And he was just like, dude, I'm not taking that recommendation. I'm like, all right, fine.
hey, if you want your video to fail, that's fine. That's on you.
yeah. We argue a lot about things that go in scripts. A lot.
think, yeah. So I think earlier on, like maybe 2 years ago, we would try to really hone in and help each other. But because each one of us have found our own voice and our own way of doing things, we're less and less useful in the minutia and the details of it. But from the big picture view is what we tend to, I think, agree on the most. As soon as we get into the details of each other's scripts, I think we're all like, no, I'm not
doing it
doing
my
that.
way.
Or, yeah, exactly.
Basically,
So
yeah.
conceptually, do you? I imagine that you consume. Are you a big consumer of content?
Definitely. Yeah.
And so, do you look outside the niche?
100%.
Okay.
100%. I don't even look in the niche anymore. Like I watch woodworking
That's how you say it in
videos.
Canada.
Yeah, up here it's niche. I'm sorry. I got.
I bet you haven't heard that. I bet you haven't heard that Canadian joke.
Yep. Okay, so some things do inspire me in the woodworking community. I love Cam from Blacktail Studio. His titles and thumbnails are probably the best in our space. So I constantly look to him for inspiration on titles and thumbnails, especially, and John too. Like John's average view count is one of the highest in our space as well.
For having like 10 videos out. He's crushing it.
I'm very lucky to have him as a friend and someone who helps me a lot. But outside the YouTube space, tons of people. Like Mark Rober's storytelling is amazing. You know, watching Mr. Beast is just inspiring. I'm not going to do anything like Mr. Beast, but just watching the empire that he's created is just truly inspiring. And then, you know,
I watched him on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Yeah.
And he gives away everything. He reinvests everything.
Yep.
He's like, what would I need the money for? And I'm like going, you idiot. Like, now he does invest. He invests, but I mean, most of his money goes back into the business.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
And he has like dozens of employees now too. It's just
I think he has like triple-digit employee count at this point.
Right.
He does say that it fluctuates, but generally speaking, he's has a rolling employee count of over 100.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly. But also on top of that, I think he also mentioned in one of the podcasts or talk shows that there was a company that offered him a little over $1 billion to buy out his production house and all of his branding and everything, and he was like, no. Which makes sense, because if you really think about how much presence he has among all of his channels and brands and everything, it really is worth more than $1 billion in the grand scheme of things. So he's absolutely right. But
somebody did the math. I watched a YouTube video that did the math and said that it's not even a fraction of what his channel is really worth.
totally.
Yeah.
There's a lot more money in YouTube than people.
So
really
if
give
he
it
ever
credit
wants
for.
to call it quits and just be like, okay, I'm out.
Yeah.
I had a baby. I need to focus on that life. I can't be in doing these crazy, videos, the challenges and stuff like that. He could, but I mean, I have a feeling that he's never going to let this down. He's going to keep making videos like this until he's 90.
Right.
because the dude's just so motivated and passionate about what he does,
Yeah.
which that's crazy to me.
Mhm.
Like for me, there's very few things I find that strong of a motivation for. Um, I would say my family is probably one of them.
Mhm.
And I can't even say about my day job career. Like it's good. I like it. I enjoy it, but I don't feel nearly as passionate as he does about any single thing.
Right. Yeah. So Scott, I know I cut you off. I think you were naming a couple more probably of your inspirations.
Yeah, I'm thinking within the woodworking community again. I'm really inspired by Brad. Fix This Build That Brad, with how kind of wide of an audience he's gone to. Recently, I've discovered DIY Perks. Never heard about him before until recently. I don't know how. He has a huge channel. He's not really like woodworking per se. He's a maker, I guess. I'm kind of inspired about how wide-reaching these guys are. And it's something that I've been thinking really long and hard about over the past 2 or 3 weeks. If I want to take my channel in a wider direction or just stay within the niche of woodworking.
So is it
We'll
the
see.
content, or is it the way that they do their videos, or what about it appeals to you?
Well, it's what appeals to me, honestly, is their high view counts.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I want to build a very strong business, and I want to reach as many people as I can. If that's vain, it's vain. I'm fine with that.
It's a business.
Yeah. So I'm thinking long and hard about where my channel is going, and I haven't made any concrete decisions yet. But I am warming up to the idea of going wider, like these channels. Focus.
Yeah, my camera goes out of focus if I bend out of the frame for a second. It just goes crazy on me.
You need like a little dummy head behind you.
Yeah. I got to recenter my camera.
I would echo more or less what Scott mentioned. I think that the folks that are big in our space are certainly inspiring for different reasons. I would look up to Cam from Blacktail Studio for his storytelling, actually, because he builds more or less the same thing every time, if you really think about it. And so the compelling elements of his video is really not the build. It's about the stories that he tells along the way and the jokes that he's got, that he's kind of like, he pushes the boundaries of like how to make fun of his viewers in a way, which is kind of interesting.
Right.
Because he'll take a comment that somebody said and he'll just like build on it. And so that element of it is very, very compelling. Obviously, the dude is amazing at title and thumbnails to get views and clicks and everything. Then you've got somebody like who is an old school person like Matthias Wendell, who I respect that guy for his creative ingenuity. And I'll give you an example. I think he was doing a joint test, and I'm getting more and more into testing realm of things in woodworking, or at least in my mind. I have only put one video out on that topic. So he did, I think he had a bathroom scale to check to do the test on the strength of a joint with like a threaded nut or something to just push up onto it. And because the joint was stronger than the capacity of his bathroom scale, he's like, I'm going to use a lever arm and reduce the power by a factor of 3.
Huh. Yeah.
Think about that. You know what I would do? I would go out and buy a tool that has a new range.
Right. Yeah.
So the fact that he does something like that is incredibly inspiring because it's approachable, it's comprehensive for folks. And he doesn't overcomplicate something. Even if he could, he chooses deliberately to not overcomplicate things.
Right.
While still giving a glimpse of his mind, which is obviously complex and fascinating.
Yeah.
So people like that are certainly inspiring for those reasons. And then there's the bigger scope of YouTube and entertainment and how to capture attention. So there's a lot to learn from everybody, really, big and small. And it's amazing because sometimes we'll look at a smaller channel and we'll say, like between the three of us, we'll say, ooh, that person has potential. And, a couple of months go by and, hey, those potentials come to fruition. You can kind of, by looking at it that way and analyzing a smaller channel to see if they're going to grow or not, you can see the elements of what it takes for a channel to be successful. And for me, it's taken a long time to get to a point where I understand that concept and how I can apply it in my channel. I still haven't gotten there yet, and I have plenty of ways to go, but I think I kind of get it now. So, I take inspiration for everything and everything, every channel's out there.
Do you guys watch Peter McKinnon at all?
Yeah, I love watching Peter.
Yeah.
I have a select few YouTubers who I watch just for their personality and on-camera presence.
Yeah.
It's something that I take very seriously. Talking to camera is not natural. It's just
No.
like no one's good at it. You just have to put in the work, and you have to
Right.
do it over and over and over again, and you have to think critically about how you can improve talking to camera. And I do it all the time. It's one of my number one things that I think about is how do I appear the most authentic, and how do I appear the most approachable, and how do I appear like I could be anyone's best friend. I don't know if I'm any good at it, but it's something that I think about a lot. Peter McKinnon is like
Nails
one of
it.
my number one inspirations, because he's so natural on camera. He just talks and you're like, oh man,
Yeah.
I could be this guy's best friend. Everyone who watches this video wants to be his best friend.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, I just watched 30 minutes on an iPhone 13 reveal or iPhone 14 reveal or something like that. And you're like, and it feels like you could still watch another 30 minutes.
Yeah, because it's like you're hanging
Yeah.
out.
Right.
And on that front, like MKVHD, Marquez Bromley, dude's amazing. So you've got folks like that who are so good in front of the camera and so comfortable. Obviously, they're that good because it's a practiced skill. They
Right.
understand the mechanics and the art of that practice skill, and they execute it to a very, very high level.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I'm working on is being a compelling storyteller, because I'm the kind of person, I have a scientific analytic mind. I'll just tell you what it is. I
Right.
don't like the whole concept of like carrying a string through to keep you looped in throughout that entire story and then tying it full circle at the end.
Right.
I'm not good at that, but it does take that level to
Yeah.
be able to keep an engaged audience on a video format like this. And so that's certainly something that I'm working on, instead of just saying, here's the information, this is
Right.
what I think, and not keep it going, you know?
Well, I think
So-
Peter's one of those people who can defy the rules of YouTube, because if you and I post a video and we're dormant for 10 seconds, we've lost an entire audience. But someone like him, it could just be a static scene, and he could just be conveying through his eyes, his emotions, something, and it keeps you there. Like, what's he gonna say? What's he, and maybe it's a niche thing, maybe it's his niche or whatever. But I'm not in his niche for those of you north of the border. But yet he still just he captivates you to continue watching. And like if I do a 10-second shot of me thinking like, how am I going to do this? Like, I would lose my entire audience. Right. I would lose all 200 views. My YouTube audience, I'm not monetized yet, and my YouTube audience is much smaller than the both of you. But
I mean, I don't really have much of an audience on YouTube, to be quite honest. I mean, this last week has been, I think, where I've seen some growth, but we'll see where that goes. But no, I agree with you, and we have to be conscientious of how we present ourselves. And I think it's so much harder for someone like us to carve a space because people are not forgiving. It's kind of like this. I tend to think of this as like the concept of, if you don't know how to drive a car and you're on the road for the first time and you're being cautious, everybody else don't know that, and they're just going to get angry at you because you're not driving properly and you're not minding the rules and the commonly practiced concepts. It's kind of the same thing here. You're in that same space with the likes of Peter McKinnon, Marquez Bromley, and everybody. You're in the same space, and you're trying to compete for those same eyeballs, for the same attention. They have decades of experience, and at this point, a competitive advantage because they have editors, finances, they have all of these things that they've built up slowly over time. And we have to compete in that space. So it's tough. It's tough to make it, really. And so I think we have to be creative, and we have to put in that much more effort before clicking the press button and the publish button.
yeah, exactly. So do you guys, going back to, I know you guys talk quite a bit about, probably a wide variety of things, but do you strategize on, we should all kind of do a video in this same genre or this same idea concept or anything like that? so they can play off each other?
No. I think we're all, this sounds really bad, but we're all pretty anti-collaboration. It's not that it's not that we don't want to be hanging out with people. Like we want to meet and talk to people, but it's more like collabs is like, it's a really hard thing to pull off that's going to be beneficial for both parties. Like what do you like as woodworkers? The natural inclination is, okay, let's just get together and work on a project together. Okay, that's fine. Do you both make a video on it and you both release the video at the same time? The audience is going to choose one video and not the other, and so the video that they're probably going to choose is probably going to be the bigger creators because they're going to have more clout than the smaller creator. So
you don't think that if both of you released a video on the same thing, if you were like hand planes or something like that, that you might become a suggested view for somebody who's not following you?
For me, that's a hard no. And the reason for it is I think Scott has a very different approach to how he produces, woodworking content. I have no approach and getting to an approach at this point. And John has always had a very consistent approach from the first 3 videos he published at once. So we're very different. And as a result, I mean, we were even talking, I think throughout the years, we were talking about like, hey, if we ever did a collab, what would it look like? And we basically decided that it wouldn't look like anything worthwhile.
Nobody would watch this crap.
Agreed.
We're just very different people and I think that's a good thing. I joked, I think I tried to summarize how the 3 of us are, and the best summary that I can think of, and I know Scott has heard this before, John is the Spark Notes of woodworking.
Oh yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
I am trying to be the scientist of woodworking. That's the direction that I'm going to take it into. And Scott is the fun substitute teacher of woodworking.
I like that. I can see that.
And so we try to stay in our lanes in that regard, support and cultivate each other and motivate each other. But beyond that, any type of collaboration that we would do would invariably be a very bad one.
Yeah. I mean, I understand what you're asking, though, about like if we all produce a video on dust collection, then people are going to want to watch consecutively our videos. But I don't know. Maybe it's a little too deep for me. I've never really thought about that before, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, because I think the way that I tend to think of it is YouTube is going to figure this out, what that piece of content is. And if it's worthwhile in its own merit, it'll ride. And so I would say, with the exception of even the last video was an experimental tester video for me on this new direction of my channel, even though that performed pretty well for what I expected, which is a good sign because that means, okay, I can lean forward in that and double down on it. But generally speaking, let YouTube do its thing. It knows very well how to tell you if you're doing a good job or not.
Right.
I think overall the decision process for me, at least, of what the topic of the video is going to be is very simple. Just what's going to apply to the most people as possible and what are people going to click on, basically. Like, in woodworking, everyone has to sand. It's just everything that everyone has to do.
Unfortunately,
but no one likes sanding. So if you make a video on sanding, chances are, statistically speaking, is probably not going to do that well. Now, John has made a good video on sanding. I don't think I'm ever going to make a video on sanding because I don't know if I can do it justice because it's very difficult to make such a boring thing. It's very difficult to make that something that someone's going to want to click on, right? Yeah. So, my next video is about joinery, and it's all about joinery systems, dowels, dominoes, pocket screws, and what was the other one? I forget. But like it's
taking away points.
Good one. I failed the ScottSuman
Suman's the new winner.
We were pretty close, so no.
I was just waiting for it. We can end the podcast now.
I mean, basically it's just something that I know people want to know about, and as many people as I can.
Yeah. And I think one of the great things about Scott's approach is he's going to talk about a wider topic that appeals to more woodworkers. Most of them tends to be in the beginning mindset, but anybody watching that does woodworking can take something away from it. And I think he's very deliberate with that, right? So even if he's talking about something like using construction lumber to build a piece of furniture, there are points in there that he makes that is very much relevant to somebody who's been woodworking for a long time, and so he
Right.
tries to capture this breadth while having a little bit more gravity on one side, which tends to be towards the beginning woodworker, and perhaps intermediate woodworker. But that's his shtick. John is basically, I'm going to summarize everything, and you're going to find my information value per unit of second. It's going to be the most information packed thing you're going to get, and
Yeah.
people find value in that, right?
Yeah.
Because it's and his tagline is no BS,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And he knows that. The dude gets branding, right? He does that for a living, so he understands that. So it's kind of like that for me. I'm thinking that all of the things that you or somebody who's into woodworking has thought about as I wonder how that works. I'm going to put some hard numbers on it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to test the crap out of it and put some hard numbers on it, because then even if you don't care about that particular joinery or that particular thing, concept or whatever, it's going to be interesting to learn about it anyway. And so it becomes relevant to a beginner as well as to an advanced woodworker, because it's like, I kind of want to know how that works, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So one of the next videos that I'm working on is the concept of stropping dulls your blade faster than just sharpening it. And most people strop. I'm going to give you some numbers that stropping is a bad thing. And if you're into woodworking, like, it applies to just about everybody, unless
Right.
you do just like, hard power tool stuff. And so that's kind of our approach. And you can see why we don't get into the weeds of each other's scripts anymore.
Right.
Because we approach it in such a different way.
Yeah. How did your video do? Your controversial video on threaded inserts.
It seems very controversial, and it is to some regard. It's doing well. I mean, so I think it's at 100,000 views
Nice.
in like 5-6 days or so. That's
Cool.
really good for my channel, for
Yeah.
the size of my channel. And so I'm really happy with it, because it was a proof of concept for me, even though the style of the editing, the concepts of it, the way I presented the information was very different from how I've done my videos in the past.
Yeah.
But it has a framework of how I'm going to structure all of the other videos and what my workflow is going to be. Most people watching a YouTube video doesn't really understand what workflow means to a creator, right? Like,
Right.
workflow is so important. In order for you to be able to put out content, workflow needs to make sense, and it needs to be efficient so that you can actually put out content. And so I've got a structure now that I can follow that template, so to speak. Kind of like a sitcom. They all have the same template that they create up front, and you just
Yeah.
kind of rinse and repeat different concepts into it. Same thing. So this was a good proof of concept for that structure and the concept. And I'm just going to rinse and repeat it, see how it does. If it does well, great. If it doesn't, I need to revisit and think about how I can improve it.
Yeah.
So
And I
what
think once you get dialed into something like that, then people know what they're coming to see.
Yeah, so right now my banner says woodworking jigs and fixtures. Soon enough, after I put maybe 2 more videos out, it's going to be woodworking period tested period. That's it.
Oh, nice. I like that.
And Suman, Friends, the sitcom.
Yeah. You get
That's
get
what
a-
I got from that answer.
Yeah. Or Cheers.
Hey.
Right. Oh, that's good. Well, I think we're running short on time. But, I would love to have each one of you back for maybe a one-on-one type of episode kind of thing at some point, if you guys are open for that.
Yeah,
For sure.
Sounds good. Thanks for having us,
It's
Matt.
It's been a blast doing our holiday hangout. Sorry that John couldn't join us, and I'm equally sorry that we didn't poke as many jokes as I intended on poking.
This is true. This is true. I mean, he wouldn't even find out because he has no power. Like, he
Right.
wouldn't know what we're saying. It would have been too
That's
late.
true. What would have been great is if we see him like watching. You're like, Seriously?
I've honestly done that to Scott and John. There would be times when they would say like, "Hey, we're gonna do a live stream." Like, okay, I can't join because I'm doing X, Y, Z. And then they hop on, and I'm like,
pop on.
crap. And then I pop on to see what they're doing, and eventually, it invariably leads me to joining in as well.
Right. Yeah. It's always when you're out sitting on the toilet or something. You know, they're like, "No, I don't want to join right now." I thought I clicked no.
Every time it happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Most content consumed on the toilet. It's the most popular seat for YouTube. Just think about that next time you're making a video.
It's more of an Instagram thing for me.
Toiletgram.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel that's how it goes. I find that when I put the most effort into a video, that's the ones that I get flushed. You know, the ones
Literally?
that, yeah, and then the ones that, you know, take you 7 seconds to shoot something quick. Those the ones that do the best.
Agreed. I think there's some level of if it's overproduced, people don't seem to like it as much.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
not
it's an
authentic.
advertisement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't had too much luck with like the stuff that has been most successful for me, at least on Instagram, has been the stuff that I've just shot on my phone. If I bring out my proper camera and shoot it and edit it on Premiere Pro and then put it out there, it's going to do poorly. That's a
Right.
sure sign that it's going to do
Yeah.
poorly. With a few exceptions, but yeah, I agree with you completely with that sentiment.
Yeah. Well, I do want to thank our patrons for this, for being patrons of the Maker Lounge podcast. We've got a few different rockstar patrons, top tier patrons: Jimmy McAnally, Matthew Arciano Sirio, Victor with Whim Design, Justin with Calvary Customs, and several others. If you want to get in on the action in Patreon, a lot of the times we do after shows. We're not going to do one tonight, but I will have these guys back at some point, and we'll continue our conversations. But we do after shows, and we've got a whole Discord channel where we talk about different things, ideas for podcasts and guests and things like that. So if you're interested in being a Patreon member, you can go to patreon.com/Maker Lounge Podcast. Make sure that you are following Maker Lounge Podcast on Instagram at Maker Lounge Podcast. And of course, if you're watching on YouTube right now, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Suman, where can people find you?
It is Woodcraft by Suman on Instagram and YouTube.
Perfect. Scott?
It's Scott Walsh, my name, on YouTube. And I don't really use my Instagram that much. If you want to follow me, that's fine, but don't expect great things there.
That's
mean
where he
you-
shares the stories of his DeWalt track saw.
Right. Yeah. Still not here. You
Nope.
should do a daily update.
That'll be the saddest thing ever.
Yeah.
On
365
track
days of waiting.
series.
Longest Christmas ever. You're on the 13th day of Christmas.
My track saw still didn't show up.
And there's your outro, folks.
There you go.
I knew I'd get him to sing. And I'm Matt with Voltner Woodworking. You can find me on Instagram or YouTube at Voltner Woodworking, all one word. And I tell people don't follow me on TikTok because it's just reposts of my Instagram content. And I actually haven't probably logged into TikTok in a month. So I don't even know what's going on over there right now.
It's minty fresh.
Right, exactly. So thank you guys. Appreciate you being on for this holiday episode, and I wish you the best in the coming new year. Hopefully you've got, I was going to even ask it, but it seems like anticlimactic at this point if you have big dreams and hopes for 2023. But if you can summarize it in one sentence, what is 2023? What's your goal?
You go first.
Well, Scott's going to definitely get there if that is his goal. But for me, a goal is going to be getting a silver play button.
Nice.
My goal is to go full time.
Nice. That's a good goal.
Yeah.
Mine's to get monetized.
You'll get it.
Yeah, we have we're like the three bears, right? Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to hit stop on the recording. Thank you for everybody who has paid or who's been doing the comments on the YouTube. I haven't been kind of watching that as much. I've been listening to what these guys are saying, but I appreciate you guys chiming in there. And we will see you in the next episode.
And
Bye.
a Suman in a pear tree.
We got this. Let's just stop it there. Perfect. Have a wonderful holiday season, everybody.
Yeah, we're heading into the Patreon after show where we have a deeper dive into the conversation of content creation with Scott and Suman. If you want to watch the after show, go to patreon.com/MakerLoungePodcast and sign up on any level. I hope you have a happy new year, and please take a moment to leave a review of this podcast as you hit subscribe. Thanks.